Hello, my name is Howard Wiseman and I'm speaking to you from Philadelphia, the cradle of freedom. Courtesy of YouTube and iVideo Studios, I'd like to share with you the introduction to my new book, Occupy Wall Street, The Next American Revolution. I just finished it today, Wednesday, November 23rd, 2011. I hope you like it. On November 10th, 2011, the Occupy Wall Street protesters forced Republican Tea Party presidential candidate Michelle Bachmann off the stage while she was speaking on foreign policy in South Carolina. The video was played just once on MSNBC at 1 p.m. and then buried so as not to incite OWS. The scene was that powerful. On November 18th, police officers at the University of California, Davis campus were videotaped pepper spraying students sitting on the sidewalk like they were killing cockroaches. That's a multi-million-dollar lawsuit tagged and bagged with a bow on it. And this movement isn't even 3 months old, with a presidential election on the way and Congress on lockdown. On November 21st, presidential candidate Newt Gingrich went on record in Iowa saying, "The Occupy Wall Street protesters need to get a job, but first they need to get a bath." On November 22nd, at a town hall meeting in New Hampshire, President Obama was both interrupted and then handed a note by the OWS protesters. They were able to get that close. The filthy rich and the Republican right are clueless to the nightmare on its way to their dreamland. When they finally hear it coming, not as another voice in their head, but the voice from the streets, it will be too late. This is a revolution in its infancy. The video you're about to see was shot on location in New York City, just days before Mayor Bloomberg sent in the troops to clear it out. It was an amazing thing to see. Hi, I'm Howard Wiseman reporting from Occupy Wall Street. It's Tuesday, November the 1st, 2011. And it's been an amazing venture here to Occupy Wall Street. What we've seen is people just getting along. They have a cigarette rolling station, they have a food cafeteria, they have a medical center, and the people are just absolutely packed in. So inside this tent right here would be 5 or 6 other tents. Nowhere else can one gain an immediate overview of how society got to this place in history other than by reading this book. So they're packed in. It doesn't look like they're going anywhere. Some people have been real friendly. Some people have been a little skeptical. And it looks like there's socialists, communists, progressionists, capitalists, Democrats, reformers. There's a lot of different people here. So it's been quite a trip. And we're looking forward to the upcoming release of the book, Occupy Wall Street, The Next American Revolution. Everything you see, everything you hear, and everything you read must be taken into skeptical and speculative consideration. Gone are the days when you were so naive as to think every headline you read or newscast you hear is true. Only through understanding of history can your perspective match your opinions. Only by recognition of the genetic differences between a Republican, Tea Party, or Democrat, or Independent will you be able to decipher the code that runs our planet. We're here at Wall Street on Tuesday, November 1st, 2011. Be skeptical about everything you see and hear regarding the Occupy Wall Street movement. Look past what you hear from the newsies. Extract the zombies and the crazies from your viewpoint and see the citizens that you're left with. Americans just like you, concerned about the future they see. The Republicans scoffed at the civil rights protesters in the 60s and the anti-war protesters in the 70s. But when you look back at history, they were just, and they were right in what they were trying to tell the rest of the country. Could this be happening again? We'll soon see. World citizens have been listening to newscasters chiming the phrase economic crisis. Only those who have lived through a war zone or in abject poverty, in a corrugated tin shack with dirt floors, or as a child of the Great Depression, have a clue as to what economic crisis really means. The rest of us haven't even stood a little close to the heat of that flame. Just trying to give you an idea as to what what the size of this is. We just talked to a guy just a minute ago. He asked him to do an interview and he declined. So we're still looking for someone to interview.
I've been here for 32 days, so I think I can answer that. The main focus of this is a protest against Wall Street and the elite who, through corporate welfare and through bailouts, have been given unfair advantage, and through lobbyists to the government. So that's the main focus, like a protest against the elites.
What happened in the United States in the last few years since the mortgage meltdown in 2008 was just a warning as to what a real economic crisis looks like. What the U.S. is enduring now is nothing but a cool breeze compared to the wildfire brewing if the drought of common sense in Washington and other world capitals continues to turn to tinder.
And then but from that,
I would call them the filthy rich.
Yeah, exactly. But from that, in this park, around that thing, there's tons of different views. There's anarchists, libertarians, communists, and socialists, and there's radical opinion, like getting rid of capitalism totally, setting up communism. And then there's also
not nearly as prevalent.
Yeah, there's just reform, like what you're talking about, reset for America, which is also very prevalent.
Not as prevalent as a lot of people.
Which would be like, you know, electing new officials, passing new laws, tax the rich. That would be a
The leaders of the world know time is running out before a global economic problem reaches a true crisis, the type that will cause a convulsion and bring the people onto the streets of the United States by the thousands, just as they have across the globe in 2011. Political reaction is already too slow, agendas too twisted to stop what's coming. Occupy Wall Street is sounding the alarm. We need to listen and wake up.
You know, class war against the rich, taking the means of production from the rich and class war and that sort of thing. No. Yeah, he was, I think he's been
That's a good message to tell people if you want to tell them.
I just totally true.
What's that say again? Rich people what?
Well, that's what the elite.
Rich people blame rich people. To tell middle class people to blame poor people.
No, he said that he was doing this for his own documentary.
It's very
Okay, guys, thanks a lot.
All that's needed to light this fuse is the right combination of unhappy people, unfortunate circumstances, and an anger at society or the system at large that simmers to the boiling point. The Occupy Wall Street movement that sprung up in September 2011 may just be a tease, or it could lead to something far worse depending on the temperament of the crowd. A psycho shot fired from a rooftop, or a police officer losing his marbles is all it will take to ignite a maelstrom of pent-up public sentiment and frustration.
These are the fellas we were talking to just a minute ago. He really didn't have too much to say. He thought I was working for Fox News.
He should be not in the system.
The Wall Street folks here on November 1st, 2011 have taken on cleaning the park one spot at a time. Really ingenious idea.
This history of our country is dotted with explosions of violence, whether motivated by politics, racism, or just plain discontent. Today's movement, calling itself Occupy Wall Street, is gaining momentum all across the country and around the world. World leaders are being replaced at a record pace.
So now, we're going to take a walk up through here.
Dude, you know those 200 something.
So I'm basically just letting them know. Hey, Kurt.
Look how thick the tents are in here. Oh my gosh. So this is like a freeway I'm on right now, like a thoroughfare. The word we're getting is there's all kinds of folks here. There's communists, socialists, reformers, Democrats, capitalists. A lot of different platforms. This right here looks like their cafeteria.
As a global citizen or a protester associated with the OWS movement, you owe it to yourself to read this book so you may better understand, inform, debate, determine, and decide where you will be or what you will do as a member of this global citizenry.
See if we can get a look at this.
Yeah.
They're feeding a bunch of folks. Sure. They seem pretty well organized.
I know.
Right now, you go backwards.
Yeah.
Why don't you strike with the you know, you go with the flash.
I have the chocolate. I'm from it, and Jeff Berman is a friend of mine. I know
Serving ice cream.
buddies there.
This is amazing.
It's hard to look. It's cold out here.
Oh, really? What? Those fingerlings.
Here's an example of how respectful these people have been of the property owners here at the park. The flowers look untouched.
The filthy rich Republicans, they won't read this book because they're not even trying to understand what the Occupy Wall Street movement is all about. That's a sure sign of their ignorance. But don't you fall victim to that same sort of simple-mindedness.
Una minoría de lo que era
Before you form an opinion on the Occupy Wall Street movement, read this book and then decide on which side you will stand.
We're at the corner of Broadway and Cedar.
Richard Clark, he, like, I don't know if you read, like, he had all this administration. These people wanted that war. They were just waiting for an opportunity.
Here we are, smack in the middle of Manhattan.
That I think is
This police officer has himself a nice little spot inside that cage.
And the Hispanic did not know that.
Lots of people are here just checking it out. This is probably the best vantage point of the entire park. So let's go ahead and get a look at this. This is truly amazing. The fellas I was talking to before admit that it's going to get cold out here. They're not quite sure what they're going to do. These boys over here seem to have an audience. Playing a little guitar, doing a little singing. This is their food court right here.
Before I sign off, I'd like to thank all past and present U.S. military personnel and their families, as well as the University of California students who were pepper sprayed directly in the face by police while sitting on the sidewalk in peaceful protest. You are all patriots. Thank you, good luck, and God bless America. I hope you've enjoyed listening. If you'd like a copy of my book before it hits the stores, or if you're interested in publishing or distribution rights, please call me direct at 1-800-336-9850.